Hi, I think that's the end of that video. I'll give a health warning to all viewers to say, if you've not seen any of the videos in the past, I'm not particularly bad at timing the videos. I'd like to play a welcome video, also encouraging people to, viewers please, to comment and question in the box at the side of the video as we go through the discussion, which will be on opportunities that come with change. But live viewers now and viewers of the recording, welcome and thank you for joining us. Here we go with the second video, hopefully. And I think back in the room. So welcome again, everybody. Thank you to Quality in Tourism, Integrum PMS, Trinity Purchasing, Res Harmonics and Cuddliness for sponsoring the Blue Room. Discussing this afternoon opportunities that come with change. Before I go any further, if I may introduce you to the panelists, or at least let them introduce themselves. I'll go round. It will go around, if I may, as I see the gallery. So, Severin, Mindy, and then Tony. If you'd like to start, Barbara, with your company, your name, your company name.
Okay. Hi, I'm Barbara Hale. Yeah. I am the woman-owned Deluxe Suites. We are in the Midwest, and we have certainly been in the corporate housing service department industry for over 15 years, and I'm currently on the board of CHPA here in the Americas. So I am delighted to join the Blue Room today.
Thanks. Thank you, Barbara. Severin?
So hello, my name is Severino Bertelli and I live in the UK. I am a leadership coach and a mentor and an innovation consultant. And I've been, worked in travel, hospitality and tourism for a while, and I've traveled quite a lot, which is I'm very, very fond of the sector.
Thanks, Severin. Thank you. Mindy?
Good afternoon and good morning, everyone. I'm Mindy Polly. I'm with Weikert Corporate Housing. I have been in the industry for 20 years. My company has been doing corporate housing in the United States for over 30 years. And I'm very honored to be here today to discuss a very positive topic about opportunities that come with change.
Thank you, Mindy. Thank you. Yeah. And Tony, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Antonio Sanz. I'm a cluster revenue manager at Furnished Hospitality, service apartment company located in more than 30 countries, head offices in Singapore. And I manage properties at the moment in London, in Glasgow, and in Edinburgh as well. And before that, I've been in large hotel companies like Marriott at the head office, and I've been with IAG as well, and with other service apartment companies like Native, and now at Furnished Hospitality. So really happy to be here, and I hope we have a really good discussion today about the great opportunities that come with change.
Thank you very much, Antonio. Forgive me if I keep putting my head down to read my notes. I'm trying to keep things on track here. We ran a poll on Sabo Wine Time last week regarding what people thought of that statement, opportunities come with change. And I'm pleased to say 91% agreed that they did. The So I think we'll have a very positive meeting, a very positive discussion this afternoon. The structure will generally be of the next hour that we will talk in general terms a little bit about opportunities and change. We'll then go on to talk more specifically, perhaps, about the sector. The aim is to support each other, encourage some positive thinking, really, in times when it's tough. So hopefully we can achieve that. We don't want to be, we've got to be realistic as well, because we know what we're facing. But there is also, every cloud has a silver lining. Perhaps I could make quote a few. I've done some research on quotes. I'm not sure if you want to share any time down the pub with any of these people, because here's the first one. Albert Einstein said, the measure of intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. I don't know about that. And yet Darwin, or the strong, but those who could adapt to change that would survive. So put Darwin and Einstein in a room together, and I think we'd have quite an interesting discussion. Henry Ford, if I'd asked my customers what they wanted, they'd have said, don't change a thing, kind of suggesting change is necessary for us to move forward. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. Tough one, maybe, but we look at what we have in front of us, and you have to sort of like make a judgment. I can't change the direction of the wind, but I can change my sails to always reach my destination. I could go on, but I don't want you to fall asleep this early in the discussion, so I'll probably stop the quotes and kind of move to panelists, really, and ask each, and by all means, you start wherever or at least let's go through. So, I mean, whether you feel that yourselves that you are positive in general, and any tips that you might give for being positive, for remaining positive in these tough times. I mean, Severin, could I maybe start with yourself, because I think you're probably an expert in this area.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love the quotes, actually, Richard, that you picked of Einstein and Darwin, because it's a lovely way to start. And yes, no, it is a lovely way to start. So thank you very much. And actually, yeah, change. So change is an interesting thing. So Einstein is mentioning about that is a measure of intelligence, and Darwin actually mentions about the necessity to adapt in order to survive, right? And I think change needs to be looked at in two different, from two different aspects. Because there is the change that we want, and there is the change that we don't want. And sometimes there is another aspect, which there is the control aspect, right? So in terms of change, like for example with COVID, right? It's something that, can you control? Well, no. Or like maybe we will be able to control it because it's something that anyway with measure can be rationalized. However, it's something that, got thrown at us. Like it happens, in life or in business, that some events happen that are completely outside of the control. And it's funny because, in terms of how we work, change is part of who we are. Because, in terms of what we were 2 seconds ago and what we are thinking now is different than what we will think in 2 seconds. So sometimes we actually go and underestimate that we are change, but it's all about how we react to it. So, Darwin mentioned about the survival. I like to use the word resilience. And the word resilience to me is connected as well to where you want to go. So there is, yes, the mindset, because of course we need to have the attitude to be able to say, okay, I can do something about it. But the mindset really takes you a little bit, it makes you get up in the morning. But what is it that creates change? It's the behavior. It's your reaction, or it's your action, or your proactive action. So that's a few things that are thrown. And, maybe I can start with a question, actually. What is it at the moment? Because, it's about opportunities and about change. So what is for you, and I'm going to ask to the other panels, to the other panelists, what is it in your, and as well to the audience, what is for you in your organization at the moment, the opportunity that you see in a time of unplanned change or uncontrolled change, which is funny because anyway, a lot of the change is not controllable. But what is it for you, what it is, the best opportunity at the moment?
For me personally, it would be you mentioned about resilience there, Severin, and it's really, first of all, damage limitation, and then seeing what can come out of once you've limited that damage is how I've really approached it. How about yourself? So, Barbara, what do you feel about that, Barbara?
I think times like these, they certainly bring out either the best or the worst in people. I would say in this industry, I have seen more partnering. I've seen really good things happen in which any of you could call me, or any of you, I feel, Mindy, I'll speak for you, that I could call you and say, I have a problem, and people will drop everything to help you with your problem. I feel like there is a fight. There is a fight for our industry to stay relevant. And the hotel industry doing what it did, I had 20 years in the hotel industry, has really opened up opportunities. So I agree that I think when bad things happen, I think good things come out of it. So I have, maybe it's because I want to see the good things, but I see the good things. I mean, no mistake, revenue's down. I mean, people are not relocating like they used to, but there are industries that are. So, I mean, I think back to 9/11, I think back to all the bad that has happened in our lives, and you figure it out. You go back to the basics. It's relationships, it's hunting, it's everything that we were born and really raised, this generation, born and raised to do, is just to start over again. And I've seen really great things, and I've gotten to know people that I would have never not known or partnered with. So, yeah, I tend to look at things positive because it makes me a little happier.
100%, exactly. I wasn't feeling too good the other day, and I thought this is going to be a terrible day, and then I just sort of convinced myself to look at things more positively, and I did feel better. And I know that it's not that simple all the time, and for everyone, I recognize that. But to try and be positive, certainly, and to try and tell yourself to be positive. But I recognize that's not always that easy. Mindy, how do you feel? How have you kind of addressed it generally, in general terms, the change that we've gone through?
Well, thank you, Richard. I am a very glass half full type of person. So my primary goal every day is to look at things from a positive aspect. And frequently, because I do lead the sales organization, we are constantly having to look at things differently. So, opportunities do represent change for us. And I look back on my sales training, that I had many years ago. When a company is changing or the environment around you is changing, there is an opportunity for us. So let's see, let's break that down a little bit and look at where those opportunities might be. Number one, this keeps me very focused on the customer base that I'm going after. The extended stay model is recovering far better than the hotel industry because people want a home-like atmosphere, right? They want the ability to cook their own food. They want to be able to social distance. So a lot, if you guys read the BTN hotel survey that came out last week, you will see definitively that the extended stay hotel models, which has always been our competition, right? They're recovering at a faster pace. So then, I want to have my sales team focus on, what customers are using the extended stay model today and why? Because we've always been an easier sell, right? More space, more value for the dollar. Well, maybe it's a factor of, opportunities equal change. Maybe people don't know enough about us. Maybe they thought that, given the change within some bigger organizations, that, the smaller companies or some smaller companies don't exist. So I would put that in the opportunity column. The other piece that I would say is let's look at, store closings. Unfortunately, in the United States, a lot of companies are going to bankruptcy, and they have to liquidate all of their goods, whether they liquidate them in mass or if they do a liquidation sale. Well, when a liquidation occurs, there is truly people that are called liquidators that are hired to come in and help liquidate the store. So they need a form of extended stay or temporary housing. So when I look at, opportunities that equate to change, I'm drilling down to that granular level and finding the positive. And I like that aspect of what we do because we're probably the most flexible industry out there. We have the ability to adapt to change around us quicker than most. If we don't like a location, we can move the location. So that's kind of where, we've been focused on within Weikert Corporate Housing, and really my personal perspective on change. I welcome it.
Yeah. No, thanks, Mindy. Thank you for that. I'll come back to some of those points. Antonio, what's your kind of like take on change and generally how we cope with it?
Well, it's obvious that the picture is not pretty at the moment. We will be kidding ourselves if we say otherwise. However, I think that with change, certainly opportunities are coming. I think for us, I take it as a great opportunity to improve your processes, to improve your strategy, your relationship with your partners as well, the systems that you have in place. There are a lot of things. It's like a wake-up call that you have as well to realize that if we compare ourselves with hotels, we keep talking that they are in a different situation. In some areas, we're a step behind, like talking technology, like for me, for revenue management or segmentation, they drill much deeper. Now it's a great opportunity for us to close this gap as well. We are seeing hotels, they are coming more halfway because they are not getting this corporate demand anymore. They are trying to come up with this office, let's say, space for their rooms or for corporate or extended stay subscriptions for digital nomads and stuff like that to try to come a step closer to something that we already have in place. We already have the space, we already have the facilities, we already have like the, as I said, the health and safety, the comfort, because another thing that we need to have in mind is the change of behavior as well. It's not how it's affecting us only, but how it's affecting the guest. The guest obviously is having a sense of needs a bit more separation. As we mentioned before, the protection that service apartments are offering help us, to be giving this sense of protection to the guest, feeling that they're feeling safe staying there than going to a hotel where it's more crowded as well. So I think that is something that definitely we have a great opportunity in our hands. And this is something that, for example, at Furnished Hospitality, we have been working really hard for these past 6 months or so. And I'm sure that whoever is working now and making the homework, by the end of it, because the sun is going to come out again and everything is going to be okay, very soon again, we need to be there, and we need to see as well, seeing ourselves as, rather than competition, more like what we call it competitors. You know, we need to help each other. We need to know that we're on the same boat. It's a tough situation for everybody. Things like I'm talking from a revenue management point of view, like pricing, for example. Let's not dump our price, everybody going to the floor and then paying the price in the long term. It's important that we all have a common ground, that we talk to each other, that we understand, okay, so let's keep a balance here in our area. So make sure that, you know, it's a bit less hard to say to recover in the long term. But yeah, there are plenty of measures that we can discuss a bit later on in the discussion that I think creativity is key at the moment. Everybody's trying to be very creative. Everybody's trying to come with new ideas and a bit of trial and error as well, see what works. And I think these opportunities are certainly there.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. You mentioned there about the sun shining again. It isn't Spain, mind you, so it's in Britain here.
Yeah, well, at the moment, you know, I'm not sure how cloudy are things in Spain at the moment, but yeah, definitely, you know, like the Spanish in me is coming here saying that yes,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
I always feel positive, and I always try to see, even there is some negatives, try to focus on the positives that you have in the situation, seeing the glass half full rather than half empty as well. I think that's key.
I mean, 100%. So something that Severin said earlier on regarding change and the fact it just keeps going. I'll nip back to my quotes. Heraclitus, whoever that was, there is nothing more permanent. There is nothing permanent except change. So, you know, but then also, like you say, we've got change that we can control and change that we can't control, and it just rolls on. But some, you know, very interesting bullets that I've been scribbling down there. In fact, on the screen there though, Heather mentions it's a slower time, so it allows us to kind of evaluate what we're doing, the business and what have you. It has slowed down a lot for everybody, and it's kind of room to breathe almost, which I think is very welcome.
Could I add something
changing
on that,
market?
Richard?
Oh, 100%. Jump in whenever. You know.
Yeah, because I was really, what you mentioned again about Heraclitus, and also about the sun coming out again. Yes, of course, the sun comes out and it goes to bed every night as well. You know, so it's kind of, we've got these cycles which are natural cycles. I mean, in terms of economy as well, you know, we've got a bull, we've got a bear. Okay, so now we are definitely heading towards a bear, and that links to something else, and that links as well to the work that I do, because while there is some change that is inevitable. Okay, so like, for example, somehow, whether nicely or not nicely, willing or unwilling, we all grow old. Okay, we all grow. It doesn't mean that if we grow old, we grow wise, but we certainly all grow old, right? Or the sun comes out and it comes back in. But there is another aspect. There is a controllable aspect, and that's, you know, it's the change that you want. And one thing is mindset, okay? One thing is actually mindset and thinking positive, but just pure positive thinking really, yes, can help you maybe see some opportunity, but doesn't make you grab the opportunity. Because for that, you need to actually go and change your behavior. You need to actually go and act at a different level. You need to actually act, you know, because that's it. Purely mindset can talk about, well, things are getting better, and they will slowly, because that's just what nature is all about. You know, things will get better somehow. But hang on a second. Let's forget the sector and let's look at company level. If at company level, everyone thinks like that, can tell you there will be no winner, you know, no one that actually from a competition, but, you know, we're still in a competitive market. There will be the ones that shine, there will be the one that quit, and we've already seen that. And that's mine is a little bit a wake-up call, you know, because I say to people, well, hang on a second, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do to actually get those results? Because you can find the excuse that you want. And of course there is COVID. And of course there is, you know, I mean, I'm not saying it's easy. So I'm being very realistic. it's really hard times, you know. So it's not about saying that. It's not about saying, well, just go get up in the morning, meditate and think positive and everything will be fine. It's completely the opposite. It's actually, well, hang on a second. Now there has been the shock, okay? Shock, everyone has slowed down. Everyone has kind of thought, well, we are kind of, you know, sometimes, you know, even better working from home than doing other things. But, well, hang on a second. What are you going to do now? You know, what are you going to do now? Because it's all like kind of less, yes, we'll all do this together and all networking. But at the end of the day, we've got to remember the competitive aspect of it. And the competitive aspect doesn't have to be nasty. It's a way of expressing yourself, our way actually to show the best service to your clients, the way to distinguish yourself. So that's the kind of work that sometimes and so often I still do not hear enough, and that's the kind of work that I do with my clients. So I'll just throw that one back and see what comes back.
Yeah. Okay. Any comments there, anybody?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you in the sense of the complacency, as you mentioned. I also see, I work with different partners as well, different properties, and sometimes all I hear is, oh yeah, but it's COVID, you know, it's the situation, it's coronavirus, you know, we know. No, this is not an excuse, you know, like you should still be doing your homework. And this is what I said, whoever is working now and doing the right things, implementing the processes, like communication between us, for example, revenue management and sales and marketing is key. We need to understand what are the clients thinking at the moment, how are the corporate clients, how is the situation, how are their needs changing as well? Do we need to change something ourselves in the way we approach them as well? So we need to make our work as well. Same for the systems. We need to digitalize ourselves and making sure that we are up to the, you know, today's wave, let's say, like we are not falling behind, and be creative, as I said before, you know, like for me, as I said, you know, I've seen some hotels, you know, talking brands like, I don't know, Citizen M, even the more the hot hostel like Selena and so on, these corporate memberships, like pushing for extended stay subscriptions where you can stay in different properties with the same credits. Let's say you stay in London, you go to New York, you go to Paris. These are creative ideas. They are trying to come outside of the regular comfort zone and then try to say, okay, we know this is not enough. What can we do to make it better for us? And we need to do the same in our part. Like being a revenue manager, data, obviously for me is key. So what I would encourage everyone is to definitely look at your data, monitor what is happening, track the pickup, track the cancellations, nationality-wise as well, understand which channels, which segments, and especially identify the segments that they are most at risk for you. We know, you know, corporate travelers, international business, obviously is going to take a bit longer, groups as well, domestic leisure a bit early. How much risk do you have in your properties? But more than that, what are you doing about it exactly? How are you going to replace this business that is not likely to come back now? Are you going to sit down and just say, oh, it's not coming, sorry, we have a problem with the restrictions? No, you need to be creative and come up with these ideas, as Severin said, and do something about it, and then you'll see the reward on the line for sure.
I don't think that now is a time to take your foot off the gas at all. I mean, there are industries that continue to move, right? Yeah. Continue to relocate. It may not be permanently. Yeah. It might be for, you know, a shorter length of time, 30, 45 days. I work in Michigan here with the automotive. They are still moving people. And again, as sad as it is for the hospitality hotel industry, they are looking more for their own kitchen. They're looking more for a corporate apartment versus a hotel room. So there are, I mean, technology, finance, there are some industries that are absolutely moving. You know, that was Mindy's point as well. So I think now is a time to hustle more than we've ever hustled before, personally.
Right. And that in and of itself could be change for us, right? I mean, because we're, you know, very accustomed to doing things a certain way. And so, you know, we have to get outside that comfort zone and, you know, fast forward for ourselves to keep ourselves motivated. I mean, because there is reward out there. There truly is reward out there, you know, provided you're willing to do things differently. And, you know, Barb, I agree with you. I follow this website called Area Development. So it's really primarily focused on commercial development, you know, when companies are building new locations and who's relocating there. It's probably more domestic, US and Canada, maybe some international, but 23 of the last 50 announcements on movement and new spaces opening was directly linked to the automotive industry. So 23 out of 50. That's pretty amazing considering, considering the environment that we're in today, right? I mean, we look at it negatively and say, oh, COVID, nobody's supposed to be doing this. No, the automotive industry is saying it is time for change. Opportunity, it's time for change.
Do you see more positivity in the United States than you do in other countries?
According to some of my clients, they see more growth opportunities outside the United States, which is really ironic. But I appreciate them being honest and telling me that their business is growing outside the United States, and until we're in an international position, we're not going to be a part of that solution. So no, I actually say I think it is global. I think there is a global change and opportunities out there. How do we look for them? Again, I want to be the person that looks. If I can't get a piece of business, one path, then I have to choose another path, right? So I have to choose another path. So losing is not an option. It's the path to winning. So, I think that's, maybe, again, a positive view of opportunities, and opportunities equal change. So, we want to be a part of that, and continually looking for great ideas within the industry and, globally within the industry.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm
seeing. No, sorry, Richard, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead, Tony.
No, I say I'm just seeing, for example, in the comments, I'm seeing somebody talking about the loyalty programs at the moment. So I completely agree on that. It's a great opportunity at the moment to push, also you look at your distribution, talking also the part of your distribution that is more OTA oriented, let's say, not so much extended stay. So in OTA business, for example, we are at Frasers, we have a loyalty program, Fraser World, and obviously we are trying to work really hard now to maximize the opportunities, making sure, and as we said before, this is a time where you can afford to, to stop down, a little bit, look at the situation, analyze, how much are you paying each of your partners that you have at the moment, how much business are they really bringing, and how much business are they taking from you directly as well, that potentially you could be getting at a lower cost as well. So I think it's important to target, as I said, segments more like the domestic leisure, less affected by restrictions as well, like travel restrictions and so on. And then the direct page and your loyalty program is a great way to do that. If you have a strong CRM system as well, you can actually personalize the offering, you put hidden or private offers, let's say, based on their preferences in the past as well. And you can start building a relationship as well so that they don't go back to third parties and they stay with you, obviously. So I think that's where, for example, training with the teams on site as well is very important. There needs to be a really good bond between the head offices and the properties as well in terms of upselling, cross-selling, any opportunity so that the team on site or somebody's coming via third parties take the opportunity to convert, and then next time they come back, they do it directly with you, and then understand, okay, is everything okay with you? What can we do to make it better for you? What is your need at the moment? Is there anything that we're not offering that we can do? And then make sure that you offer that for the next day, and then you'll have a guest that will be for you for life, you're treating nice.
Absolutely. It kind of is ringing in my ear. The came out of the discussion in Blue Room 2 regarding service and how important that was. Even I hesitate to say, but even over and above the hygiene, which we should be adhering to anyway in the sector. So service and loyalty, gaining loyalty through addressing whether you all your staff are on board with good service levels is something very important, I think.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, something that, and Azir from Accommodeo there that made the point regarding loyalty. I'm also interested in the point regarding cross branding, and I need to ask more about what that might be. Probably umbrella brands with brands underneath them that have that are targeting certain markets, but I'll need to catch up on that one. Something that might Stapley, where is it in the comments here? Where is it? Churchill, something about never miss a good crisis. COVID's happening. We need to take the opportunities. Never waste a good crisis. Winston Churchill. so Mike, I missed that one when I was doing my research, but yeah, that's right. Never miss a good crisis. But yeah, creativity, loyalty, a slower world. So everything's slowed down. We can be more creative. We can have a look at what we're doing, both personally. Even if you're on the right career track, you might say, "Oh, how did I end up here? Maybe I didn't even want to end up where I am." Maybe someone else makes that decision for you. But I had one quote regarding staff. Go ahead.
And as well, Richard, there is Wendy that I see, Wendy Galati here that mentioned as well the word hustle that was mentioned as well before, and as the ability to move when the world stands still. And yes, it's all about that, because that's what makes you distinguish. And when you apply that hustling, let's say, kind of attitude to an organization, well, first of all, you need leadership skills, but it is called innovation, because it's a process that works. Okay. And that's as well the other point, I think, to take into account, about crisis and about investment, is actually at the moment, in order to distinguish, because you mentioned before about containing damage. I think that to an extent has been done. I mean, the people, or everyone that is on this panel has done it, and actually already kind of acting beyond that. So already reaping the benefit from the action that has been taken. But hang on a second, how to take it further? That's innovation. That's kind of, it's starting to look into how investing in skill set, into leadership skill set, but as well a different culture into the organization, because that's what is the key really that can make things, really sustainable as well for the future. And that can be learned on the job. And that's what a lot of people are doing, because obliged by the situation to do that. But hang on a second. If you actually go out there and invest in someone that can guide you through that, then the adventure is different. Then you actually don't waste all that time into mistakes, but you go through a process which is actually, already has been paved and tested. So there is all these things to take into account as well, in order to produce, let's say, the change that you want, to get the results, to get that kind of competitive edge and so forth.
Yeah.
But to that point, I want to talk about what Sarah just wrote. She said it's all about doing the right thing too. At the moment, there are a few out there who are not. My personal belief is there will always be a few out there who do not do the right thing. It's the masses, it's the leadership, it's joining arms, it's going to war, it's, arm in arm, we're going to get through this together. But in my perspective, in hotel, in corporate housing, there will always be those few that are just trying to get themselves ahead, right? And it doesn't last very long. I believe in energy. I believe in law of attraction. It's not going to work for them forever. So, and we have them here in the States as well. I mean, cutting rates to $40 a night. Again, there will always be people doing the wrong thing. We just have to do the right thing and and lead the industry like we're supposed to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry, Tony, you go ahead.
Yeah, just one thing. In regards to that, I completely agree that there will be a few that we cannot control. Having said that, we also need to be fair with everyone and understand that maybe somebody's in a situation where they cannot not afford to look at the long term. As we mentioned before, a lot of companies going into bankruptcy, they just need the cash flow. They have no option but to drop the rates because this is survival for them. So I understand that, but nonetheless, there needs to be like a common ground where everybody understands, like there is a limit. Like for me as well, they say, oh, look, the competitor is selling at 30 pounds when you are at 100 pounds. I say, well, obviously I'm not going to go down at 30 pounds because the moment we start this war to the bottom, this race to the bottom, then that's the end of us as well, so we need to put a line on that. But at the same time, I do understand that there's people that cannot afford having this sort of like a time frame, let's say, to wait a bit longer to optimize processes and then down the line being more profitable. Is just survival for them as well. So we just need to understand that and maybe try to deal from our side the best we can, to not to enter this game, let's say that's they are.
From the point of view of doing the right thing, one area where I do feel that applies is where accommodation providers should respect facilitating distancing within the properties, and that that neglecting that particular aspect is not really great, because we'll never get out of the crisis otherwise, if distancing isn't possible. Yeah, what I'm thinking is we'll do a short video. We'll let ourselves. We'll give ourselves a little bit of time to have a sip of the tea, and come back shortly. I've just got to make sure that I play the right video, otherwise. Here we go. And back in the room, I think. Get quite good at this. So we've discussed regarding attitudes to change, if you like, and some of the opportunities. We're kind of approaching the last 10 minutes or so, and I wonder whether we could go around the panel, suggesting what you think would be for an individual. If you're an individual and you've been hit with by this crisis, so you all of a sudden you maybe don't have a job, or your business is on the rocks. What would be? I mean, we'll just go through this very quickly, because we'll come back onto the sector itself and can change. But what would you say would be the, in one sentence, really, what you would suggest? Obviously, to be strong. Obviously, anyway, over to you. Severin, what would you think? What would you say to that?
Well, I would say focus on what you want and just act on it. Because that's the only thing, really, in terms of well, in terms of change. And there has been, because at the end of the day, there is actually, I wrote down a quote, which is one of my favorite one, which is from Gandhi, which is, if you want to change the world, start with yourself. And that's all about leadership. And that's all about what you want. And you can want whatever you want. It doesn't really matter, but just go and get it, basically. Get up, do something, act on it, and get it. And if you are not able to do it yourself, then find the people that can help you to do that. And it's not easy for anyone. I would completely agree. It's not about saying, yes, it's given to you and it's all that. No, it's not about that. Part of the satisfaction of the process of actually achieving is as well the struggle. And the struggle is part of it as well, a nice way, because you can look back and say, well, look where I came from. Look what I did, look what I did and look where I am now. So it's that kind of attitude. So I would say, just think about what you want, express yourself, your heart. Find your heart call. Finally, it seems like a silly sort of statement, but actually your heart call. What is it that gives you joy now? Your job, your ideal job. What have you got to give to the world? Go out and do it. That's what I say.
100%. I think Gandhi was in sync with quite a few people, because that sounds quite similar to a lot of the quotes that I was saying, that I was reading but haven't read out, haven't gotten with me. But yeah, action, obviously, finding yourself and what you like to do, and as Heather said earlier, maybe we've got the time to reflect on that and to then act. Yeah, so that's good.
Richard, we touched on something. We just touched on something that I think we really have to focus in on. I would say all that and expand your circle. Right? Expand who you're talking to, expand your relationships, expand. I am surrounded by brilliant people, and they give me ideas every single day. And nobody ever told us or me as a business owner, I have to come up with ideas. I have to do it. Sometimes people will share their ideas that work for them and they work for you. So I think now more than ever is a time for connections. And reaching out and having conversations, because I have learned a lot in the last year from my partners. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, exactly. No, thank you, Barbara.
Yeah, and I would have to agree, with Barb, is that being connected, I think, we all have our own circles and what is comfortable, but what is good is beyond that comfort zone, right? It is where the opportunities lie, is beyond that comfort zone. So, there's somebody that's on this call that I have to say, went through an unfortunate circumstance, lost her position. But I would have to give her credit for the most networked individual. She participated in so many learning and growth opportunities that she made herself strategically important and difficult to replace in that process. So I think that's one thing that we can do if we find ourselves in the midst of a change in our role. Now, if you're a business owner and your business is not faring well, but you believe there's value in it and you would like to see the business continue, I would say, reach out, to companies, like Weikert, that may be in a position for, acquisitions. Reach out to, some companies, just so that you can get the word out there. Otherwise, there's going to be, third-party brokers involved that will collect a fee if your business sells. But you know your business better than anyone. And I am fairly certain that you know who is a good partner and who is not a good partner. If I were a business owner, I would want to have a stake in how if I decided to sell my business, who I sold it to.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, again, focus on your network. You know, if you want to see your business sustain these tough times, and perhaps you want a different approach, reach out to companies.
That's, good advice. Yeah. Tony, did you?
Yeah. So for me, I would say like mainly three things. I say one, from being a revenue manager, analytical, is trust your data. I think definitely data is key. It's important to monitor despite the situation being bad. We need to start understanding where the demand is changing, where the pickup is coming, where the cancellations are coming from, which countries are recovering a bit earlier than others, to try to target them as well. So that's really important. And especially for revenue managers that have to do now a forecast or budgeting, that is obviously really, really tough when historical data has no value whatsoever. I would advise them obviously try to do different scenarios, more negative, middle one, and more optimistic, and try to track this data month after month to kind of get an idea where we should be. So that would be on the data part. Second, I would say try to understand your customer, how the needs are changing, how the behavior is changing. Communication is key. You know, make sure your sales team are reaching as well to the corporate clients. Make sure you are trying to understand on site as well when the guests are coming, and see what can we do ourselves to make sure that they know that whenever they are ready to travel, we are there for them at the moment. And last thing I would say would be creative, be bold. It's trial and error, and try new things. Forget the preconceptions, and then think that it's a new area, it's a new world at the moment, it's a new situation. There's no wrong ideas. It's just trying to test new things and see what works. And then, you might be the first one of a trend, and then everybody follows you as well, So I think we're on all this together, and I'm sure that with all these great ideas, we'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, and we have to stay positive. I do take on board Conchetta's comment there. Reality versus optimism, and it's tough. It's a tough call sometimes. We've got about 5 minutes left, and I wonder whether we talk specifically about our sector and how whether you see any changes and whether they would be lasting changes. We've covered a lot in Saba Wine Time. Regarding the changes over the recent 8 months, would you believe, or for the UK at least 8 months? Can't believe it. Accommodation models, target markets, health and safety, and what have you. Do you see that there will be lasting changes? Not that that's bad, but will there be lasting changes to what we offer? For example, will office space always be there now, or is it temporary? And will we roll back time in a matter of months, hopefully? What do people think about that? So the aspects of our sector which have changed, and which do you think may be permanent changes? I'm thinking office space as being one that might stay with us forever.
I think they're here to stay, that's for sure. I think my point of view is that changes we're making now, we were before in a situation where we are in our comfort zone as well. We know everything about our industry. We know we have different procedures in place. Now we are testing the waters with something different. You mentioned office space, for example. Rather than being a home away from home, we're also an office away from the office at the moment. It's a different approach and different idea, but it's the new reality. And whether we like it or not, some companies are saying that they're not going to come back at least until, further in 2021 back to the office. So we don't know how long that's going to last. So I think changes are here to stay. And then we need to get used to this new reality that is evolving us. And I don't think everything is going to stop. I think it's just we're going to learn to adapt ourselves and to live in a world where we are surrounded by this virus, and hopefully there is a vaccine and things are, safer in a way. But we'll have to work with whatever we have around, but we cannot stop as well our day-to-day and our business and our life. We need to keep going, otherwise, it's not going to work. So we have to keep going, and I'm sure that will be the case. Yeah.
Exactly. To quote someone else, I mean, it's a strange world, and I use that word intentionally. David Bowie, turn and face, in his song Changes, turn and face the strange. I mean, we can't run away from it. So, you know, we've got to kind of deal with what's happened in this world. I love that. I love the, what was it? Office from office. I think you're going to have a lot of people scribbling that down. Home from home.
Yeah,
office
exactly. That's the thing. We're seeing all the hotels starting to come into that trend, co-working spaces as well, the digital nomads. I saw some that they were offering like a training course for a year to train you, and then they include the accommodation for free. So it's something completely like to kind of incentivize long stays in hotels as well, or resorts. So it's kind of like things like, obviously rural areas being more demanded than, you know, city hubs, let's say big cities like London, for example. We know that obviously that's going to be the case. So they're trying to push for this, for resorts, beach, mountain, you know, places where they feel a bit more secluded. But yes, yeah, I think they're there to stay. And we also need to take advantage of that. We have already the facilities, we have the biggest spaces in the apartments as well. We have already much more that they have to adapt themselves. We already have much of the work already done. We just need to take advantage of it, and advertising as well, communication on the website, making sure guests know what are we doing about it, and, you know, what do we have in offer as well. And, you know, as we mentioned before, make sure that our name is out there and everybody knows we are here. We are a service apartments. You know, it's a sector that is definitely very much fitting the needs at the moment from the guests. Yeah.
Richard, I wake up every morning and I say, thank you that we're not in commercial real estate. Of all the industries we've fallen in, thank God we're not in commercial real estate, right? We still stand a chance. We can still go out and fight. I don't know what that industry is going to do, right? So I'm very thankful that we're in the serviced apartment business.
Yeah, that's one aspect, isn't it? One saying that is often used about thanking your lucky stars and what have you, and probably you know. So we've hit 3 o'clock. I don't know whether we want to go around, whether anybody would like to add anything to what we've been discussing, or first of all, would anybody want to add?
Yeah. Just don't want to add anything. I just want to say thank you to everyone, because I think it was really good discussion. I appreciate the ideas. I think it's good to take everything into consideration and to see, sometimes you see things your way, but then it's really good to understand the point of view on different markets as well. How are they viewing the situation? So I thought it was great. And also from your part, Severin, on the more like the state of mind as well, and not just being positive and then try to actually do something about it and being proactive. I think that's key as well, making sure that we go and we have here, let's grab it, you know. So I like that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you're going to see
thank you very much.
Sorry, you go. Sorry, Severin, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Richard. Yeah, sorry. No, I just wanted to say thank you very much, and thank you. Lovely to meet as well, Barbara and Mindy and Tony. So nice to meet you all, and and thank you for the opportunity. And it's great. A topic like this, I think, is really important, and and just not just about the mindset, but because of the specific, let's say, topic that came out as well, which are kind of call to actions, which is what sometimes we miss, in the talk shows, so thank you very much.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. I mean, would you like to, should we go around the panel, just refreshing viewers on your company names, and then just so that they can contact you in the future. Barbara, would you like to start? If you just recap on your company. I was
definitely going to say is, if there's anyone out there that needs support, help, inspiration, and I can help you in any way, please reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn. My email is barb@deluxesuites.com, the way it's spelled on the screen. But I am more than happy to lend an ear, lend a shoulder, and help anyone in this industry in any way. So that's my send off, is call me if you need me.
Thanks, Barbara. Thank you. Mindy?
Absolutely. Again, thank you for your time today. It was a great discussion, and I look forward to continuing this conversation. Feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn, or you can reach me at mpolly weichertch.com. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to bounce ideas off of, and certainly to support you and your company any way I can.
Thanks, Mindy. Tony?
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is Tony Sanz,
Oh,
Antonio.
you started, didn't you?
Sorry? No, it's fine.
It was you.
No, as I said, I'm also here just to say thank you to everyone for attending as well the conference. So that's great to be part of this panel as well. So if you need anything else, definitely we have service accommodation, like as I said, in different parts of Europe and in Asia as well, like in the UK, London, Edinburgh, and Glasgow. And also we have the hotel side that is hotels Malmaison and Hotel Duban as well, all over the UK as well. So if you need to contact me, it's antonio.sanz@fraseshospitality.com, and you can reach me LinkedIn as well. Or even if you need some advice and some, second thoughts on different ideas, I'm always happy to listen and to try to be, helpful as much as I can. So thank you very much, everyone.
So we share my details as well, because I didn't before. So my website is severinobertelli.com. So SEVERINOBERTELLI.com. And you can reach to me on LinkedIn or via my website, severine@severinobertelli.com. And yes, anything about innovation or about mentoring or leadership coaching, I'm more than happy, and I've been actually in the last few months, worked a lot in the sector and supporting for free many people. So if you need anything, just please do. Then I have, of course, programs as well, and I'm scaling my consultancy at the moment and creating an academy for entrepreneurs. So if you want to reach out, please do, and we can always have a chat. So thank you very much.
Fabulous. Well, I would like to say thank you very much to everybody for bravely attending this panel, being on the panel, and for offering your thoughts, your genuine pearls of wisdom that I think will be of great help, judging by the comments as well, of great help to people. So thank you very much, and thank you everybody, both live viewers and viewers of the recording. But thank you very much. And now I'm going to move with the outro to finish this. Hopefully.